Good morning, loves all. I thought today that I would share with you some ideas that I have learnt from my own experiences about how to choose the best builder for your tiny home if you're having a builder build it for you, and what are some things to watch out for when you're getting someone else to build your tiny house. So stick around, let's do that right now. The first thing to do before you go any further, once you've got your design in mind and so on, is to check builders. And I suggest not just looking at one, but looking at 2 or 3 in your area to see who is the best builder for your particular needs. There are 8 things that I suggest you check about each builder before you take it to the contract stage. So let's look at number 1. The first thing is to check that your proposed builder is a registered builder, if that's a requirement in the country in which you live. I know that we have viewers on this channel from Australia, America, Canada, New Zealand, UK. You're all over the place, and each country's requirements are different, so I would strongly encourage you to have a look at what the legal and regulatory requirements are in your particular country. Sadly, here in Australia, we do not have the requirement for a tiny house builder to be a registered builder. Go figure. But if in your country that is a requirement, please check that. That's number 1. Number 2, particularly in Australia, this refers to, is to check their ABN or their ACN, their Australian business number, their Australian company number. You've probably got exactly the same in other countries as well. Check that they actually are a registered business. A tiny house builder who's not a company or not a registered even business, probably something that you need to be a little bit wary of. So number 3 is to check whether your tiny house builder uses subcontractors or builds the house in-house. If they use subcontractors, are those subcontractors qualified tradespeople, and are they registered business people as well with insurance? Number 4, related to that, is that if they build the tiny house in-house, does the builder build it himself or herself, or do they employ tradespeople, and what are the skills and experience of those tradespeople? Are they also qualified tradespeople as well? You want to be making sure that regardless of whether it's number 3 or number 4, whether they use subcontractors or their own staff, that whoever is actually building your house is qualified in their trade, so that you get the best quality outcome. Number 5 is ask if you can speak with previous clients. It's often very, very enlightening having the opportunity to speak to previous clients who have had their house built with that proposed builder. They will often let you know little secrets that of course the builder may not want you to know about, or may legitimately have forgotten to mention. Previous clients, as well as also letting you know what you may need to be careful about, can also sing the praises of their builder where that build was successful, and that will affirm for you even more that you're choosing the right builder. Number 6, does your builder provide a warranty on the house and its construction, and if so, for how long? Now there are 2 factors that you need to consider with this. If they don't supply you with a warranty post-delivery at all, if there are any construction issues with your house or something deteriorates faster than you would have expected to do so, then you could potentially be up for some expensive repairs that may not necessarily be your fault. So be aware of that. The second part to that is if they do provide you a warranty, a post-delivery warranty, what does it cover and how long do they cover it for? So if it's only for 3 months versus 5 years or whatever it may be, you need to think about that and what does it exclude and what does it include. Number 7, another question for you to ask is, how often will you be updated on the build of your house and how are those updates delivered to you? Will they just promise to send you a photo update once every week, once every 3 months? Will they only send you updated photos and descriptors, for instance, at the end of different build stages, like once the trailer is completed or once the framing is completed or when the roof goes on or whatever it may be? You may want to negotiate with them that you have regular updates so that you can see the actual progress. You might say to them, I would like a photographic update every second Friday, please, for instance. And that, at least, if that is put into your contract, will ensure that you can see what is the progress of that build. Is it going as expected, or are there some slowdowns? And if there are some slowdowns, you will be onto that pretty quickly about determining why is that slowing down, what's actually happening. Number 8 in this particular category of things to think about: what are the documents that the builder will provide to you before commencement and after completion and delivery? So will you get, for instance, in Australia we require the VIN number, the vehicle identification number of the trailer, in order to very often in order to be able to insure the tiny house. You may in your country require ownership papers, gas fitter completion certificates, and also electrical certification. Check all of that and ask what are the documents that you will get before, during, after completion of your tiny house. Okay, so the second group of things that you need to think about in the process of choosing a builder is the contractual obligations, the contract. And the first and just most primary thing is that you need a written contract. End of story. If your builder does not provide a written contract, don't even go there. A verbal contract or a handshake will not support you if things go pear-shaped at a later date. Please, if you only take one thing from this video, let it be that you have a written contract signed by both parties that you are happy with. Now, actually, in terms of that contract, there are some things within that contract that need to be mutually agreed to and be in writing. Number one of those is that you need to have written into that contract that there will be progress payments that will be provided to the builder at certain stages of the build. Never, ever, ever give all of your money to the builder at the commencement of the build. Just don't do it. So you would need to give perhaps a 20% deposit, 20% on completion of the trailer and the framing, for instance, another percentage at completion of the shell, and perhaps another progress payment with the electricals, the gas, and all of the fit out, and the final progress payment is given to the builder after delivery. After delivery, mark my words on that, after delivery, not before. I would suggest that with your contract you have it independently assessed, perhaps by a lawyer. You need to make sure that the contract supports your builder to provide the house that you require, but that it also supports you as well. Contracts are beautiful when things are going well. They're the only thing that will support you when things do not go well. And often building houses, be they tiny houses, be they container houses, be they ordinary houses on land, things do go wrong. You need to have a written contract that you can refer to that supports both parties to bring about a win-win outcome when there is a difficulty. Your contract also needs to have a delivery date in there, so that it's not just open-ended, because otherwise you could be waiting 6 months, a year, who knows? So have a delivery date in there, and you can think about putting penalties in there where it goes over the delivery date and you still don't have it delivered. Be prepared to negotiate on this as well, because you don't want to penalise a really good builder by having severe penalties if, for instance, something really goes pear-shaped and they can't deliver until the day after or even a month later. Things do happen, but be prepared to have a delivery date in your contract with a set of penalties should your house not be delivered by that delivery date. With your contract, you should have a very clear set of drawings, of plans for your house that include obviously the floor plan, and that ensure that you and your builder are both very clear about the style of the house that you're going for and what it's pretty much going to look like when it's completed. Along with that, the other thing that you need to have in your contract is a very clear and precise set of inclusions and exclusions. What sort of internal cladding are you having, for instance? And does that cladding require to be painted, or are you painting it? So I just use those as examples, but you need to have a very, very clear set of inclusions and exclusions so that your builder is able to deliver on what you specifically want, but it protects you as well from those nasty surprises that you get when it's delivered to you, when your house is delivered to you and you find, oh, hang on a minute, you included the toilet in the inclusions list, but you didn't include actually plumbing the thing in. That's just an example. So you need to be very clear, and your builder, if they're an experienced builder, they'll be able to help you put inclusions and exclusions in that list. And previously, when I talked about speaking with previous clients of that builder, they too will be able to give you some ideas about in terms of their particular contract, if it's similar to yours, what did they forget to include in that or exclude? The third and final part of this pretty extensive list of things to think about when you are going to employ a builder is the quality of the build. And to a large extent, whilst your builder may be building your house for you, you are another set of eyes that can constantly look at that and say, hang on a minute, I don't think that's quite right. Can we talk about that? This is not where I thought it was going to be. Have I misunderstood something? Can we talk about that? And so one of the best ways to do that is to ensure that you have the opportunity to actually physically inspect and look at the tiny house during its build process. It's often the best way to check on quality and to make sure that what you thought you wanted is actually what you wanted as well. And what I mean by that is that even though you have a beautiful set of plans that you and your builder are on the same page with and very clearly appreciate and understand, you might have you might find that once you actually see the house partially being built, you both might look at one particular part of that and say, actually, I'm not sure whether that's the best way we can do that. How about we just move this wall just to here, and that will make this better or that better. So that allows for that flexibility for both of you, but it's not something that you can change if you don't have the ability to actually go and see the house being built. Looking at the house through those stages also gives you the opportunity to check on the quality of the build as well. If you notice, for instance, that if it's a wood frame, is one of those pieces of wood warped? Nope, you don't be wanting that in your tiny house. If you can see that before it actually gets covered up with cladding and insulation and so on, you and your builder can have a discussion about how to remedy that. So inspecting your house while it's being built is often a really good way to determine A, if anything needs to be modified during the build, and B, if the quality that you wanted is actually matching the quality of the build that you see in front of you. If anything is going a little bit pear-shaped, it gives you the opportunity to discuss that with the builder and rectify that before you give them any more money. In terms of inspection, I strongly encourage you to physically visit and inspect your house before delivery, once it's completed and ready for delivery. If there is anything that needs to be fixed, it's much more cost effective for you and the builder to do so while it is still in the builder's location, rather than waiting for later where they have to come and visit you to do so. The other thing that it does is gives you peace of mind before you release any further progress payments yet again. If your builder is geographically distanced from you and you're not able to physically go and visit them during the build or after the build, then I strongly encourage you to make sure in that contract that you have written down that they are supposed to report to you every, whatever it is, the period of time that you choose, be that every week, every 2 weeks at the end of each stage, with photos and or videos, so that you can do exactly the same thing. In effect, you're inspecting the property, but you're doing so via a digital process instead of actually physically being there. So really important all up, regardless of whether it's by photos, videos or physically, that you are on top of the building process as well as your builder, that you can see what's happening with that build and you don't just leave it to the builder to do and trust them 100% that it's going well. It may not be going well, and either your builder may not be aware that it's not going according to what you thought it would do, or for instance, your builder may be having some issues or problems financially with staff or whatever that they haven't mentioned to you, and those progress visits or photos will enable you to keep on top of that and meet your responsibilities as a client to discuss how that is affecting your build and how you can progress further. The final thing to think about, I would suggest to you, is on completion. When it's completed and when your tiny house is actually delivered into your hot little hands and you've got it there and you're looking at it. Really, really important that at this point, before you move in, on the day of delivery or shortly thereafter, you do a full inspection. Now that full inspection needs to include photos or video of anything that is damaged or missing, and it's important that you get evidence of any damage or anything that's missing that actually should be in the house but isn't in the house, and any workmanship which may not be up to scratch. Anything like that, please get photographic or videographic evidence so that you can give that to the builder and say, look, this and this need to be fixed, please, within the next 4 weeks. or whatever the time frame is that you and your builder choose. So I do want to make sure that you know I'm not a lawyer, and this doesn't constitute legal advice in any sense of the word, but I am a client of a building company who built my house, and these are the lessons that I've learned as a result of having a builder build my house. If you have any other questions about how to choose a builder, I'd really love to hear in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please think about giving it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. Thanks so much. Oh, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I hope this was helpful. Thanks so much for sharing this time with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.